Picture this. After World War II, Europe was in ruins, roads destroyed, cities turned to rubble, economies totally crushed. So the United States stepped in and handed over $13 billion to help Europe get back on its feet. That was a huge deal back then. Now fast forward to today, if we adjusted that amount for inflation, it would be around $130 billion. Still a pretty big number, right? But here's where it gets wild. China has been spending way more than that in Africa. In just the last decade, Chinese companies have locked in deals for roads, railways, bridges, dams, you name it, worth over $700 billion. That's not a typo. It's more than 6 times the cost of rebuilding all of Europe after a world war. And they're not slowing down. Just in 2024, China pumped another $51 billion into Africa for new projects. So what exactly are they building? And how could these massive projects reshape the future of Africa? Let's dive in and take a closer look. At number 10, let's talk about something that's basically a game changer for both Ethiopia and Djibouti. A super long train track that's way more important than it might sound. Imagine trying to move tons of stuff, like coffee, clothes, and food, across bumpy, dusty roads for days just to get them onto a ship. That's what Ethiopia had to deal with for years. Why? Because it doesn't have a coastline. No sea. No ocean. Just land. So everything that needs to go in or out of the country has to pass through its neighbour Djibouti. Now enter the Addis Ababa to Djibouti Railway, a fast, modern electric train that stretches more than 750 kilometres. That's like driving from New York to Pittsburgh. It opened in 2018 and cost about $4 billion to build. The money came from both Ethiopia and China, and Chinese companies were the ones who actually built it. Before this train showed up, moving goods from Ethiopia's capital to the port in Djibouti could take days, and it was super expensive. Now, that same trip takes around 12 hours. That's less than a day. And it slashes the cost of moving stuff by about a third. But it's not just about saving time and money. This railway is helping Ethiopia make more money. Seriously, it's adding billions to the country's economy every year. Investors are paying attention too. With cheaper and faster shipping, companies are more willing to build factories and farms in Ethiopia. And let's not forget Djibouti. Since most of Ethiopia's trade flows through its ports, the railway has turned up the volume. More cargo, more business, more jobs. It's also helped Djibouti grow its economy with new investments and upgrades at its ports. Now, instead of being stuck, both countries are on the move, literally and financially. Coming in at number 9, let's take a ride on something that's completely changed the way people and goods move around in Kenya, the Nairobi to Mombasa Railway, also known as the Madaraka Express. Before this train was built, getting from Nairobi to Mombasa was kind of a nightmare. We're talking a 10-hour drive full of traffic jams, bumpy roads, and more than a few unexpected stops. If you were hauling goods or even just trying to visit the beach, it was a slow and stressful trip. Then came the shiny new railway. It's 472 kilometres long, almost like laying down tracks from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. And now, that once exhausting 10-hour trip only takes about 4.5 hours on the train. Just hop on, relax, and let it glide you to the coast. But this isn't just a fancy ride for tourists. It's a massive deal for businesses too. Trucks used to carry goods back and forth, but it was expensive and slow. The train changed all that. Now companies can move cargo way faster and for a lot less money. Shipping stuff between Nairobi and the port in Mombasa is about 40% cheaper, which means lower prices and bigger profits. And guess who helped make this all happen? China. They covered most of the cost, about 90%, and a Chinese company built it as part of a big global plan called the Belt and Road Initiative. Basically, it's a huge network of roads, trains, and trade routes connecting countries together, and Kenya is now a key stop on that map. Oh, and the railway didn't just move goods, it moved people's lives forward too. Around 30,000 jobs popped up thanks to this project. From building the train to running it and keeping everything moving, people across Kenya have found new opportunities. It also helped Kenya level up in the region. Now, the country isn't just moving its own stuff, It's helping neighbours like Uganda, Rwanda, and South Sudan trade more easily too. At number 8, we've got something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Egypt is literally building a brand new city from the ground up. Yep, you read that right. Just outside of Cairo, about a 45-minute drive away, bulldozers and cranes are working around the clock on what might be one of the biggest construction projects in the world. It's called the New Administrative Capital, or NAC for short, and the price tag, a jaw-dropping $45 billion. So why build a whole new city? Well, Cairo is packed. Over 20 million people live there, and things are getting a bit too crowded. The plan is to take some of the pressure off by creating a fresh, modern city that can hold around 6.5 million people. And when we say modern, we mean futuristic. The NAC is massive, about the same size as Singapore. It's going to have shiny new roads, tons of green parks, solar power everywhere, and even smart traffic lights that use AI to keep cars moving. At the heart of it all, a sleek government zone where all of Egypt's ministries, the parliament, and even the president's office will move. There's also going to be a huge business area filled with skyscrapers, including one building so tall it'll be the highest in Africa. They're calling it the iconic tower, and it'll reach up to 1 full kilometre into the sky. China is a major player in making all this happen. Big Chinese construction companies are leading the charge, especially when it comes to the city's fancy business centre and transportation systems. Supporters say it's a bold leap into the future. They believe this new city will bring in international companies, boost Egypt's economy, and help the country become a top financial hotspot in Africa. But not everyone's cheering. Some people are worried the city's super high price might create money problems. Others think it could end up being a fancy playground for the rich, instead of actually helping the everyday people stuck in Cairo's traffic and cramped neighbourhoods. Number 7 takes us to a small country with a huge role in global trade, Djibouti. It may be tiny on the map, but it's sitting on a golden spot right at the edge of the Red Sea, where ships from Asia, Africa, and the Middle East pass by every single day. Now imagine building a super-powered shipping hub right there. That's exactly what Djibouti did with a dorminance multi-purpose port. Basically, a mega dockyard that cost around $590 million to build. China helped foot the bill and joined in on the construction too. So what makes this port such a big deal? Well, before this port came along, Djibouti could only handle so much. But now, it's like giving the country a trade superpower. Giant cargo ships carrying containers, oil and other goods come and go smoothly, and business is booming, especially with goods going to and from Ethiopia, which depends on Djibouti's coastline to connect to the rest of the world. And it's not just about business. Here's where things get even more interesting. Right next to this busy port, China built something else, a military base. Not just any base, but their first ever one outside of China. So now, while cargo is being loaded and unloaded, there's also a major security presence watching over the area. Why? Because this spot isn't just important for trade. It's one of the most strategic shipping routes on the planet. A lot of the world's goods pass through here, so whoever has a presence in Djibouti has eyes on global trade. For China, it's a 2-in-1 deal. Protect its business interests and have a strong military foothold at the same time. Number 6 takes us on a long journey through Angola and into the heart of Africa, with a train track that's more than just steel and gravel. We're talking about the Benguela Railway, a massive 1,300-kilometre route that stretches from the Atlantic Ocean all the way to the borders of the Democratic Republic of Congo. To get a sense of how long that is, it's like riding a train from Miami to New York, but through mountains, rivers and wide-open African landscapes. Now, this railway isn't new. It was first built way back when Angola was still under Portuguese rule. But years of war and neglect turned it into a rusty memory. For a long time, trains just didn't run. The tracks were broken and the stations were silent. Then, in the early 2000s, something big happened. China stepped in with tools, workers, and a whole lot of money, about $1.8 billion, to bring the railway back to life. Construction kicked off in 2006, and by 2014, the new and improved Benguela Railway was up and running. And it's doing way more than just carrying passengers. This railway is now a lifeline for trade in Central and Southern Africa. Huge amounts of copper, cobalt, and other valuable minerals from Congo and Zambia are loaded onto trains and rolled straight to Angola's Lobito port, ready to be shipped around the world. Before the trains came back, most of this stuff had to travel by road. Slow, expensive, and often dangerous. Now goods move faster, cheaper, and way more safely. And with fewer big trucks on the highways, there's less traffic and fewer accidents too. But that's not all. Thousands of people have found jobs along the route, fixing tracks, running the stations, loading cargo. Towns that were once quiet are buzzing again, thanks to the rhythm of the railway. If you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you have not already. At number 5, let's head to the coast of Namibia, where a once quiet port town just got a serious upgrade. We're talking about Walvis Bay, a place that used to be kind of under the radar when it came to big international trade, but not anymore. In 2019, with help from China's harbour engineering company and a $300 million makeover, Walvis Bay got a brand new container terminal that's turning heads around the world. Think of it like turning a small town train station into a big-time airport for cargo ships. Before the expansion, this port could only handle a limited number of containers, around 350,000 standard units a year. That's like trying to fit all your friends into a tiny classroom. But now, the terminal can handle more than twice that, up to 750,000 containers a year. It's now in the same league as some of Europe's busiest ports. And here's why this matters. Namibia is helping out its neighbours, countries like Botswana, Zambia and Zimbabwe that don't have coastlines. Before this, they had to ship everything through South Africa's ports, which were often jam-packed and slow. Now, with the new terminal, they've got a faster, smoother route for getting their stuff in and out. It's not just about moving boxes faster. This upgrade is part of a bigger plan called the Walvis Bay Corridor. It's like a superhighway for trade, connecting the ocean to deep inside Africa, making it easier for businesses to grow and for countries to trade with the rest of the world. With all the extra space, new tech, and better logistics, Namibia is stepping up as a serious player in global shipping. At number 4, we're heading to Angola, where something massive is rising along the banks of the Kwanza River. Imagine a giant machine built into nature, one that turns rushing water into pure power. That's exactly what Angola's working on, a giant energy project called Kakulo Kabaka. It's not just any project. This one comes with a whopping price tag of $4.5 billion and is one of the biggest power efforts anywhere on the African continent. So what's it all about? Picture thousands of gallons of river water flowing through huge turbines that spin like crazy. That spinning creates electricity, lots of it. Once it's up and running, this hydropower station will make over 2,000 megawatts of electricity. That's more than double what Angola makes right now. It's like adding another battery pack to the whole country. And this isn't just about keeping the lights on. Angola won't just use the energy for itself. It'll have extra to share. Countries like Namibia and South Africa are already lined up to get some of the power, turning Angola into a major electricity provider for the region. Now let's talk about jobs, because this project isn't only about power, it's about people. During construction, more than 10,000 jobs have been created. That's thousands of families benefiting even before the first spark of electricity flows. Once the power starts rolling, it's expected to supercharge local industries, especially factories and mines that have been struggling with blackouts and unreliable electricity. At number 3, let's talk about a big change on the tracks in Nigeria, a train line that's helping people and goods move a whole lot faster. This is the Lagos to Ibadan Railway, and it's like giving the country's travel system a much-needed upgrade. Before this line opened in 2021, getting from Lagos, which is always buzzing with people, cars and traffic, to Ibadan could feel like forever. Roads were jammed, trips were long, and no one could really guess how long it would take to get there. Then came this new railway. Stretching 156 kilometres, and built with a budget of $1.5 billion, it replaced the old slow train system left over from colonial times. And the best part? The new trains zoom along at up to 150 kilometers an hour. What used to be a long, exhausting road trip now takes just about 2.5 hours by rail. That's a big win for everyone, from daily commuters trying to avoid endless traffic to businesses that need to move goods quickly and safely. The impact? Huge. Transport is now cheaper, faster, and way more reliable. Goods are getting where they need to go on time, and people are travelling with less stress. And this is just the beginning. This line is the first step in something even bigger, the planned Lagos to Kano Railway. That future route will stretch over 1,100 kilometres, connecting the busy south to the bustling cities in the north, helping Nigeria's economy grow even stronger from top to bottom. At number 2, let's take a trip to the coast of Tanzania, where something huge is about to happen. Literally. Just north of Dar es Salaam, a brand new superport is being built in a place called Bagamoyo. And we're not talking about just any port. This one comes with a price tag of around $10 billion. And, once finished, it'll be one of the biggest ports in all of Africa. So what makes this project such a big deal? Well, imagine a giant parking lot, but for cargo ships. This port will be able to handle around 20 million containers every year. That's like opening the front door to global trade for a bunch of countries in East Africa. Right now, most ships go through Kenya's Mombasa port, which gets crowded and backed up. Bagamoyo is stepping in to fix that. It's being built to take on more traffic, move goods faster, and give other countries like Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi a smoother way to send and receive things from overseas. And it's not just about making shipping easier. When ports run better, everything else starts to move better too. Faster deliveries, more business deals, and stronger economies across the region. At number 1, we're heading deep into the hills of Taraba State, in Nigeria, where something truly massive is being built along the winding Donga River. This isn't just any construction project. It's called the Mambilla Hydropower Project, and when it's finished, it's going to be one of the biggest sources of clean electricity on the entire continent. We're talking over 3,000 megawatts of power, enough to light up nearly a quarter of all homes and businesses in Nigeria. But here's the cool part. It's not just one big dam holding back water. Mambilla is like a puzzle made up of 4 separate dams, all working together. These dams collect water in 3 huge reservoirs, and when that water is released, it flows through a super long underground tunnel, longer than 10 football fields end to end. That tunnel sends the water to giant spinning machines called turbines. As the water rushes through, it spins the turbines, and just like magic, science, electricity is made. Clean, green, and powerful. From there, electricity zooms across Nigeria through long-distance power lines, bringing energy from the north all the way down to the south. The brains and builders behind this project: 2 Chinese engineering giants, Gezhuba and Sinohydro. These are the same folks who helped build the largest hydropower plant on Earth in China. So yeah, they know a thing or two about making rivers work for people. But Mambilla isn't just big news for Nigeria. Once everything's running, Nigeria will actually have more electricity than it needs, and the extra power can be shared with neighbouring countries like Niger, Chad and Cameroon. That means more lights on across West Africa, and stronger ties between countries that are learning to share energy like good neighbours. It's all part of something bigger called the West African Power Pool, which is kind of like an electric teamwork club, helping different countries connect their power grids and rely on one another when needed. And Mambilla? It's like the spark that could power a whole new chapter for the region. Which of these projects amazes you the most? Let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed watching this video, be sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe.